Hey everyone, here is my week 7 digital presentation, Halloween and the Final Girl, which is a digital presentation by Casey Chumley for my Communication 601 Communications Fluency class. The entire purpose of this is to show, from the example of the original and the remake Halloween, how women are treated in horror movies and how society will sometimes show that if a girl is good by its standards, they will live, whereas if they don't, they will not. So here, let's dive in. My thesis statement is the film Halloween, both the original and the remake, are equipment for living for those believing that a woman's behavior and personality determines whether or not she survives a horror movie. What are horror movies? Elements of a horror movie are, the cast, the director, the script, the point of view in which the movie is shot, and the underlying themes in horror movies, specifically from the 80s and 90s, of Sarah Trinkansky's article, which this whole project is based around. The original Halloween took place in 1978, while the remake was in 2007. What are women's roles in these movies? There are many themes, personalities, and stereotypes among women in these movies. The male gaze, which is, sort of the sensual, provocative character who's killed off. The final girl, who is the lasting protagonist who survives everything, and the victim, who doesn't really put up a fight and is killed very. How does this relate to Halloween? Well, Laurie, who is the main point of many of this argument, is a bookish, shy, good girl, and she does sort of fit perfectly within the final girl persona. She almost pioneered it in a way. Annie, who does have a sexual scene and is killed off very quickly afterwards, and Linda, who again doesn't put up much of a fight and is killed quickly. So you can see how they consecutively make out the final girl, the male gaze, and the victim stereotypes. So what does it take for a final girl to survive to the end of the horror movie? She has to be relatable, smart, with a virtuous personality, a willingness to fight back, and sort of masculinity to do so, no physical or emotional intimacy toward the opposite sex, a possible bond or empathy to the killer in some ways. This doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does. And she has to be seen as a good girl and able to connect to the audience, someone they have to root for. Now, how does Laurie exemplify the final girl persona? Again, many say that she pioneered it, was one of the first of its kind. She's not afraid to present a masculinity. In the original, she stabs him multiple times to fight back, and in the remake, she shoots him in the head. So she's personally responsible for killing him and ending his tirade. She's unavailable to male relationships. She's the only one in the friend group who doesn't have a boyfriend. And her bond with Michael Myers. She was actually his youngest sister who survived the massacre in which he subjected his family to. She was the only one who survived and was adopted by, her new family. She had no idea she had this connection with Michael Myers, but it is shown very much in the remake. So there's that. Now, what does Halloween teach us about horror movies and female stereotypes? Well, to sum it up very quickly, it shows that if a female character's personality, behavior, and choices are seen by society as good, then she will live. But, this film on its own isn't sexist, but it unintentionally portrays a stereotype that it might be. Halloween is a classic, especially with horror movie junkies like myself. And this pattern that this movie displays has been copied by millions of other, movies that are in the same genre. So whether or not it was intentional, we don't know, but it has become a staple. So we do need to kind of learn from this and show that, not just the good girls should survive or be empathized with, all of them should. Because, that is just the human way to see things. So that was my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and take care.